telling your story. So now you've got your idea developed to the point where you have a business model for how it will create value. You've got some information, you'll always need more, about how your market views your value proposition, and your prototyping has helped you pivot towards something which may work. And you've already been explaining your innovation to many different groups of people, trying to get their feedback and perhaps trying to get them on board to help you with your innovation. Now you need to think about how to tell your story to someone who could influence its future. You have to pitch for support. What you're doing is using them, potential investors, as a proxy for your end market. If you can convince the dragons sitting on their pile of money but guarding it with their fearsome claws and fiery breath, well, then you may have a chance of succeeding in the marketplace and getting people to buy into your innovation. So you need to assemble all the information you have and pull together the answers to the questions you think that they will have. You need to tell them a story. Now, the good news is that story listening is something we're hardwired for. A growing body of neuroscience research tells us that we're primed to receive and react to information communicated in story form. That's something which predates our ability to read and write by thousands of years. As a species, we've always told stories, not least as a way of sharing important and possibly life-affecting information. So your audience is ready to listen, but they won't react favorably if A, you don't have the information they're wanting to learn about, and B, you don't communicate it in an interesting fashion. Now, hopefully your business model development has given you some help with A, but to deal with B, how you get the message across, you need to think about how you're going to do it. And probably giving a simple bullet point list on a flip chart or some PowerPoint slides isn't going to do much to hook their interest. You need to find a way to tell your story in an attention-grabbing fashion. So, what are ways that you might tell your story? Well, remember you've probably got limited time and a short attention span, so you've probably got to think about ways to make an impact. For example, a picture is worth 1,000 words, so are there ways you can use images instead of words? And people identify with characters. That's why novels, plays, and movies work. We've already played with this idea, constructing personas to help us bring our target market alive. So, can you create characters to bring your audience closer to your idea? Perhaps you could construct a use case, essentially bringing your innovation story to life as a mini drama in which the characters encounter the problem you're aiming to solve, and then they deal with it using your innovation. Or maybe you can use something unexpected, music, or even dance. Next time you're in a supermarket in the UK, you might check out the sauces section. You'll find a product called Levi Roots Reggae Sauce and various other products with that brand. He famously pitched to dragons on the TV series by coming up the stairs, singing a reggae tune, and instantly transporting his audience to his grandmother's kitchen in Jamaica, where he would eat the most delicious sauce. That story helped this become one of the most successful innovations to come from the series. Or try the famous elevator pitch. Imagine you've luckily entered the lift of a 30-story office building at the same time as the CEO of the corporation who owns it. That means you've got a maximum of 2 minutes alone with him or her. So how would you pitch your idea? Think of a powerful image, a challenge they can't ignore, anything to try and get hold of their attention. Or think TikTok. That's a version of the elevator pitch scenario. The difference is you have to make a 2-minute video which somehow gets your message across. Hint, a boring talking head is probably not going to cut it. But remember, you're using these approaches to get your audience listening, capture their attention. It's like that magic phrase, once upon a time, which is guaranteed to get people's ears pricking up, ready to hear a story. Now that's all great, but only if you've done your homework and you've got a clear foundation of facts and data to support your story. No matter how good you are at presentation, if you don't have a solid business model, then you're unlikely to succeed in convincing others to buy into your idea. Of course, being creative in how you communicate your story is great, but in the end, you're still trying to convince hard-headed and critical people with lots of experience that you know what you're doing. So, back to our business model, making sure we've anticipated all the questions they might ask. You don't have to include all this information in the pitch, but you will have to draw on it when you start fielding their questions. Now, there's safety in numbers, so even if you've decided as a team that only some of you will do the pitch itself, it helps when you're answering questions to make sure all the team are involved. One of the important lessons about dragons, those venture capitalists, potential investors, other people whose support you're trying to attract, one of the things about them is that they're just as interested in the people as the plan. They'll often back a strong team even if the pitch hasn't been so good, because what they're looking for is that passion and shared purpose which we've been exploring and which lies at the heart of entrepreneurship. You can always change a plan, modify it, improve it. That's often where their experience can really help. But it's much more difficult to change the people. If they don't believe in you, they won't back you. So think about how you present yourselves as a team, as well as the ideas for your venture. Now, one of the most useful things you can do in preparing for your pitch is to practice it. Rehearse it so you know what to expect, you know what you're doing. For example, try role-playing the dragon's part. Try and experience what it's like on their side of the fence. If you're listening to a pitch, what tough questions would you ask? Reverse engineer the business model canvas. Use that to probe around. Have the team pitching really done their homework? Do they really understand their market? Is their value proposition clear? Have they got the numbers, the size of the market, likely cost structure, different sources of revenue, timing of those and when they'll come on stream? All of these things. By sitting temporarily on the dragon side of the fence, you can get some helpful insights about the strengths and the weaknesses of your pitch and your business model, but you've still got time to revise and fix these. It's another version of the pivoting, which you're already familiar with.